Welcome back, brothers and sisters. Tim, Braden, Second Legacy, and thank you so much for showing up. We have got to talk about something that stolen valor. That's not cool. It's not a good look. It doesn't look good on anybody doing it, particularly if you're running for VP. There is a brewing controversy, and we're going to walk through the entire thing. We've got the evidence. We've got the clips. We've got a lot of little mockery images. This is going to be a great episode. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. To a humor and sarcasm deployed in perfection. And with that, Tim, set the bar high. We got to deliver.
Yeah. This has been an interesting election cycle, and it's just getting started. You know, we have another presidential candidate running for the Democrat Party that's been hiding out in her basement, not doing interviews, not doing anything, just kind of coasting to the finish line. It seems that strategy worked for him in 2020. They're going to do it again. And then we have the VP that gets tapped, and everybody was expecting one VP pick, but at the last minute, it seems that they switched gears. And we got a different candidate.
That took a left turn, didn't it?
and now he's got his own problems. Apparently, he likes to embellish his military service record. So
no, Tim, I don't know what you're talking about. Let's throw up number one. This is his actual record.
There he is with all of his combat awards.
Meticulously honorable, and look at all those medals.
Yep, each one of those shiny things represents 100 enemy soldiers killed with a weapon of war, and
a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's you know, that was from his time in the Soviet Union, because he spent a lot of time in China, and
it's weird.
And so he likes to vacation in China. He likes to, like Bernie Sanders, honeymooning in the Soviet Union. Seems that these Marxists just love spending a lot of time in Marxist countries.
They always go home, don't they?
They do. Yeah,
that's weird. Yeah. It's weird. You know what? I was actually watching a few things on this. Sebastian Gorka brought up a very interesting point. I mean, we both know Sebastian personally.
Yeah.
He brought up a very interesting point on one of his Instagram videos. He's like, in his amazing British accent, he's like, wait a minute. He was in the National Guard for 24 years, and during that time, he was going to communist China multiple times for multiple years at a time. How do you get that clearance?
Right.
It's a very valid point.
No, I mean,
very valid.
So not so much now. I mean, back when he first started doing it, we were still coming out of that Cold War era, and it was quite questionable. Now, during the Cold War, it was extremely uncommon for people with political influence or military service or anything like that to wind up in a Soviet bloc country, because they were kind of, blacklisted, and it would raise questions. Famously, Lee Harvey Oswald spent time in Russia, and that raised eyebrows. And so, during the Cold War, it was definitely a no-no. It's become less of a no-no, but it's still quite telling when a Democrat spends a lot of time. It's still
interesting.
Like Kamala Harris extended her gratitude to, congratulations, I should say, to Maduro after stealing the election in Venezuela. They just love their dictators.
That was a weird one, wasn't it?
Yeah. And old Bernie Sanders, he's talked about how great Castro was, allowing Cubans to live the American dream, and the Soviets, what great people they were. He just loves going around propping up communist dictators. And
they have really cool old cars there in Cuba.
What's that?
They're really cool. They have cool old cars.
They do. I saw one that was actually turned into a boat. That
it's very impressive.
Driven the 90 miles across the water there.
Oh, well, good. Oh, I love that.
It was really cool. It was like a 1958 pickup truck they had turned into a boat with propeller and everything.
I love that. Send us your best and your brightest, your huddled masses. That's what it says.
Hey, if they get over here and touch shore, they're allowed to stay.
Wet foot, dry foot. Anyway, let's keep going.
Yeah, well, we get off on the Rumble Strip. That's some old Cold War stuff right there.
Yeah, that was some stuff.
We could have Cuban cigars and we couldn't have Cuban cigars. We could go to Cuba, now we can't again. It's like, where are we at with Cuba?
Mariana's boat lift, man. It was a thing. Anyway.
Okay.
Let's throw up number two. No, it's good. I like the vibe. It sets the tone. So this is number two. This is something else that the VP candidate did. This is a no too.
Yeah,
you don't want to do this.
This is where he drew the ire of the Green Berets and the Special Operations community. Yeah.
I mean, that's you're kind of wearing some insignia saying that you went to war and you were in wartime, and that's the impetus for you to take our rights here domestically. This is a bit of a problem for me, Tim.
Yeah.
And I'll be the first one to tell you, I never was part of the military. I do not have that honor. I will never claim it. But this guy seems to think he's a Green Beret.
Yeah. So the Green Berets posted this on X, and they're calling out Tim Walz. They're saying, hey, Tim, this you? Do you often wear our crest? And even though you were only National Guard with 0 deployments, never went through SFAS or the Q course, and by all accounts, never even worked with Special Forces, stolen valor much, And there's people out there saying, look, it's just a crest. He was given to him by a unit when he visited them or
Nope.
something like that. Look,
Nope.
it would be like me or anybody else wearing a trident. Okay.
Right.
Having never been in the Navy, having never gone through buds, you don't wear tridents. Okay. That is not cool. Either, former military, existing military, never served. You don't wear unit insignia that you don't rate. It's just not cool. And he should know that, right?
Well,
it could be totally harmless,
he's such a veteran.
But
he's such a veteran. He should know.
But this on top of the fact that going back to the early 2000s, he's been campaigning on misrepresenting his military service, claiming to be an E9 when he discharged, when he did serve as an E9 until he retired, but then he didn't meet all the qualifications, so the National Guard dialed him back to E8. But he continued to claim he was E9 for political gain, and he's been called out.
That's not the important part. That's an important piece, but that's not the most important part.
But what I'm saying is this is compounding, right? This isn't just one incident.
Correct.
This is an ongoing thing that's been happening for decades with him. He lies about his
I see the
military
line you're
service.
taking.
Right. And so,
I see the line.
And now he's claiming, I served in war, and I want to take your weapons of war away, the AR-15 in his mind. I went to war, carried this rifle in war. Right. I know exactly what it's all about, and I need to take yours away from you. He's campaigning on that. No. Problem? Yep. He never served in war.
Exactly. So, and that's the whole point. Yeah. I think you nailed it. Very good job. Like, I like how you drew that line, because I was totally at the end. That was good. The line of continuity.
Right. Well, we're showing a pattern of behavior here. It's not just one incident. He didn't just show up with the Special Forces insignia. He didn't just claim that he was in a war. He didn't just, this has been an ongoing thing with him.
Yeah.
For years.
Yeah, that bottom left picture.
This isn't drummed up for the 24 election cycle, folks. This has been a controversy with him and his campaigns for years.
And speaking of, in a minute, we're going to walk you through what the Harris campaign is doing about it, which is how you can tell you're over the target. We'll show you that in a second. But, this bottom left image down here on that, Tim, you've got from left to right, you got Walz, you got Beto O'Rourke, Josh Shapiro, and that's Tony Evers. Those are all three governors of Democratic states and one wannabe who lost 3 times in a row in Beto. That's a lot of gun controlling company. And particularly on a deeper level, Walz and Shapiro in the same image, that's a bit awkward.
Yeah, given recent events. Yeah.
Recent events. That's uncomfy. Anyway, moving right beyond that, why would we not choose the most obvious solution with the most obvious gain in the Electoral College with the obvious goal to win? I don't know. Anyway, moving right on. That's a fun one. Well, hat tip to Newsmax, because they put together a montage here. This is a really good one. Are you ready for this, Tim?
I haven't seen it, I'm interested to see what Newsmax.
Let's get it. So this is number 3. I'll tell you when to stop, Doctor.
Day 2 of Tim Walz on the campaign trail as the VP nominee, and this guy has already become the laughingstock. But he has particularly angered veterans like me with previous claims surfacing that he actually went to war. We told you last night that he resigned early from his enlistment because his unit was to be deployed to Iraq. But that didn't stop him a few years ago when he was campaigning, saying, I'd gone to war.
I've been voting for common sense legislation that protects the Second Amendment, but we can do background checks. We can do CDC research. We can make sure we don't have reciprocal carry among states, and we can make sure that those weapons of war that I carried in war is the only place where those weapons are at.
Weapons of war that you carried in war. Okay, Tim, what weapon? And in what war did you carry it in? J.D. Vance had the same question today.
All right, so I'm going to kind of splice this a little bit. So that the importance of that video is monumental, because in that video, we're going to break into a few things I want to talk about really quickly, what he was saying. But the underlying premise is, here's why I can take your gun rights. Because I carried this weapon in war during wartime, and I know how dangerous it is. No, you didn't.
Yeah. This is a typical shtick, right? Yep. So here you have a leftist that wants to take your freedoms away, and he's using military service as justification. Like, hey, trust me, I served in the military. I went to war, carried the same rifle, and I just want to take your rights away from you. Trust me, I'm a veteran. He's using veteran status, embellished veteran status, to convince you to surrender your rights to him. Right. That is about as dirty as it gets, folks.
Yes.
You don't claim
And
to love liberty and then use your military service to convince people to surrender their liberty.
Exactly. It is so twisted. And that, you just boiled it down perfectly. That's the issue that's going to haunt them forever, because people in the middle, people in the veteran community, they are not going to take kindly to this. Conservatives, oh my God, this is like sacrilege. You don't do this crap. But for the people in the middle and the people in rural America, this is a very important thing. If you extrapolate this out, Tim, you know that the main reason that they say they chose this guy, other than the obvious reason they didn't choose Shapiro, was because he's in a Rust Belt adjacent state. He's the everybody's grandpa that all the acolytes are saying, like, he's the guy I'd want to call if my tire was flat. Shut up. Okay, I know. Anyway, and he has Midwestern rural appeal. They're trying to get back these swing states, right? You're going to lose that and more with this kind of crap. It's going to backfire.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. But, and it's one of those things that, for the Democrats, this isn't going to sway one Democrat vote. Not one. They don't even like the military. They don't like the nation. They don't care about your military service. Matter of fact, they'll ridicule you for it. They've been doing that for generations.
You're talking about far left, though. You're talking about the extreme parts, not all Democrats.
I'm not talking about the middle of the road average Democrat. I'm talking about the lunatics that now run the party. And so it's not going to affect that vote. But what it will do, I believe, is start to turn off those fence setters, those independents, those people in rural America that can't quite make a decision. They don't like Trump. They don't like Harris. Well, this is going to push them away from this ticket, because it is an affront to anybody that is truly patriotic, especially anybody that's ever served and knows how this is supposed to go. Veterans in particular don't like stolen valor. And this is something that is really, really weird in the veteran community. There's stolen valor where civilians that never served claim military service. That does happen. But what's more common is that a veteran claims service that they didn't do. And that's what he's doing here. So I can't remember, we talked about this pre-show. I can't remember the person, this happened a couple of years ago on Twitter. There was somebody that served in the special operations community and had lots of street cred for that and was fairly popular. And then it came to light that he lied or embellished, having either worked with the CIA or being directly employed by CIA. And that burned him down because he claimed something he didn't do. And this is a guy that actually did cool guy stuff. So this isn't even uncommon. And, it's not uncommon for somebody that served in Motor T or just basic infantry or whatever to say, oh, no, I was special forces. I was the door gunner on the space shuttle. And that's truly offensive to those in the veterans community. And they will call them out for it. What's that?
Door gunner on the space shuttle.
It's a real MOS, man. Space Force. Go Space Force.
That's so amazing. That just caught me off guard. That's phenomenal. So the last thing I want to highlight in that one little clip of Governor Walz, okay? It's interesting where he went in his gun control quest on that, because he went literally from state level to federal level to embellishment on military record and then back to federal level. It was very interesting, and even went into the executive area. That was he says it very, very quickly. You don't really catch all that he said, but in a hindsight, effectively what he said was, it's okay to do CDC funding. Well, not really, according to laws and budget that's been written and revealed, because in the 90s, the Democrats were using the CDC to put out talking points for the gun control narrative and for the gun control side. Yeah. They still do, but that's why the CDC was revoked from doing that, because they got the hand caught in the cookie jar. You can't do state-to-state reciprocity. Okay, I thought this was about banning ARs. Why reciprocity for handguns, Tim?
Yeah. Well, they want to go for handguns too, but they have to be very careful with that one.
Well, he's not being careful there.
No,
right?
He slipped up because reciprocity is something that we in the 2A community and people on the right side of the political spectrum have been fighting for a long time, and they want to just take that away from you. They want your handguns too. This nonsense of this weapons of war. What is a weapon of war? A handgun, people, is a weapon of war. David killed Goliath with a slingshot.
A rock.
A pointed stick is a weapon of war. When they go out there and they try this narrative on you that, like, we need to ban these weapons of war, and people go, oh, yeah, that means AR-15. No, people. No. It means literally everything from edged weapons, pointed sticks, rocks, to firearms. All been used in war. And just like in the UK and other places, they will get the AR-15. Then they'll move all the way down to muzzle loaders, and eventually they'll even take your knives away to the point where when you go to IKEA and buy a new knife set for your kitchen, you'll have very strict laws governing how you get that knife set home so you don't break those laws and wind up in prison. That's where all this ends, folks.
That's actually a real thing.
It is a real thing. And they do this through incrementalism. So they're going to go for the low-hanging fruit. They think the weapon of war is low-hanging fruit. And once they secure that, then that just starts to trickle down until they get literally everything that goes bang, and even pointy objects.
So, and one of the things that I really like to see, because let's keep it 100. The Republicans, they don't do politicking good sometimes.
No, they suck. They're horrible.
They're just terrible at it.
I mean, the left does, like today, the narrative is, you see Lemon and all these other people out there saying, you know, they're doing the exact same thing they did in 2016, and they're all parroting this. And what is that? Well, they're giving Trump press conferences. How dare the media allow him to speak to the people?
That's weird.
And so they're all out there today saying it's 2016 all over again. The press has learned nothing. They're letting Trump speak on press conferences.
I'll be okay with that.
And we can't allow that. We have to, fact check him in real time. We have to control everything he says. That's how the left thinks. Folks.
Is that really their talking point
it's
today?
Trending on X right now. Yeah. That's
gotcha.
That's their shtick today. But the point being is that they move in lockstep.
They do not want a repeat of Hillary Clinton, man. They are terrified.
But when the orders come from up top, it goes straight down, and all the talking heads, the propagandists, all parrot the exact same line.
Yeah, there's
that
a command chain for sure.
They move in lockstep. The Republicans don't know how to counter that. So the Republicans are all over the place. They all have independent thought, unless you're talking about people that try to influence other people's decisions and bully them on social media. But the Republicans pride themselves on individual thought and having various opinions. Not so much in the Democrat Party. If you don't toe that party line in lockstep perfectly, if you deviate one period, one cross T, one dotted I, if you vary even a little bit, you're canceled. You're trash.
Brought to you by Nancy Pelosi, by the way. That is a Pelosi cultural infusion. All right, so let's go back to this clip because I wanted the Republican thing. They're actually seizing on this. All right, play that clip one more time for me, Doctor.
Well, I wonder, Tim Waltz, when were you ever in war? What was this weapon that you carried into war, given that you abandoned your unit right before they went to Iraq, and he has not spent a day in a combat zone? What bothers me about Tim Waltz is the stolen valor garbage. Do not pretend to be something that you're not.
Now, everybody is asking him this question, including, finally, the press pool is.
Governor, fans accuse you of stolen valor. Your response. Governor, fans accuse you of stolen valor. Your response.
Guy didn't even try to answer the question. This needs to be asked every single day, folks. This is super important. Look, this is the...
All right.
So, hit me. Let's think.
Yeah, no. So, I mean, to be fair on that last clip.
He might not have heard it.
He didn't hear it because he had his eardrums blown out in war.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. It's all that artillery that happened in war.
Yeah. He had a mortar round land right next to him at the fob, and it took his hearing from him. So he just didn't hear anything. He wasn't trying to avoid the press there.
That's a good point, Tim.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. I like that. Well, you know who's not giving him the same level of gratitude, and then we'll get into how the Harris campaign is pivoting on this one. Representative Wesley Hunt, who's one of my favorite humans in Congress. He just takes no prisoners on this one. Let's play number 7.
He did not deploy to a war zone, and he's having to stealth edit all of his articles saying that he actually spent the war in Italy. So what does this say to you?
If he's claiming that a civilian-made AR-15 is a weapon of war, it just basically proves that he's never been to war. Because nobody that goes to war is going to pick up a civilian-made AR-15 and walk into war with it. And by the way, as an Apache driver, that's a weapon of war. It has Hellfire missiles on it, rockets, and a 30-millimeter chain gun. That's a weapon of war to me. And I'm really sick of liberals using the word weapon of war. This crap started with Beta Reward. They have no idea what a weapon of war is. These people can't tell me the difference between 5.56 7.56 and 7.62. And so if you're going to sit here and talk all that trash about, oh, we're going to take your guns away and take away AR-15, and when I went to war and you didn't go to war, it just proves how ridiculous this argument is. And again, a civilian-made AR-15, I hate to break it to all you libs, that is not a weapon of war. I can show you a weapon of war. A saw is a weapon of war. My Apache is a weapon of war. An Abrams tank is a weapon of war. I can show you some weapons of war. An F-22 Raptor. Let's have a serious conversation about a weapon of war. And it's not a civilian-made AR-15 that you carried in war that you never even went to.
Whew.
Okay.
Whew, man, that's about as hot as the barrel of your saw, sir. Off the Apache.
You know, you gotta love he's having fun doing it.
Yeah. But just to be clear, you should be able to own any of that stuff.
Stick to the point, Tim. God. Stay
Well,
over
the
this
whole
target
shtick
before I go over to this
Well, but
target.
it's just like trying to argue that, well, it's not really a weapon of war. The point is that weapons of war are what was specifically protected by the Second Amendment.
Yes.
Anyway.
I know. Then we have the
That's
NFA,
the wrong
then
narrative.
we
That's
have
my
Heller.
point. It's like, I've been doing this too long.
But it is fun while we're there. Come on.
I know.
Give him his due. Give him his due.
But it's just
fun while we're
justifying their
there.
position that weapons of war are somehow bad. No, they're not. That's how you keep tyranny in check, and that's why we have a Second Amendment. But anyway.
I see your point. I do. It's got a validity to it, but that's another video, sir. That's not this one.
Not this one?
No, because I gotta show you how the Harris campaign is like doing a corkscrew out of this one because it's not working so well. This is number 4. Harris campaign walks back Wall's bio amid stolen valor controversy as questions swirl. That's not the problem. The problem wasn't the bio. The problem was this jackwagon who's trying to use his valor as taking our rights. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah. Well, this is something that the campaign has been doing now for weeks. They went back and edited 2-3-year-old articles that called Harris the border czar. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, we, along with all the other media outlets, incorrectly called her the border czar. That's been changed now, so we're going to go back and retroactively correct history. And that's what they're doing here with him. It's like, oh, he's been stealing valor for many, many years. We're just going to go back and edit all those articles and just take that out and see it never happened, folks. He's a good guy.
He's a great guy. Look at him. Look how amazing.
That's
so loving.
That's typical leftist nonsense right there. Just that reminds me of that funny Soviet era black and white photo of Stalin standing there with some other communist, and then they killed that communist, and then the picture gets edited. Literally, this happened in history, and they edited out that person.
Oh my God.
That's what they're doing here. They're just going back, editing people out and editing things out of actual history. It's like, oh, not cool anymore. You're out. We're just going to go ahead and
real time, baby.
And, what's that?
Real time. Just.
I gotta find that image.
All right. Well, this is the last piece that I want to really hit on what they're trying to do, and this is kind of funny because this is Democrat spin. That's what this is. So at the end of number 5 here, this is what they're saying the main controversy is, the rank difference. That's not the controversy. Wall's biography initially said he was a retired command sergeant major. It has since been updated to say that he served as a command sergeant major. Okay, that's not the problem, numbnuts. The problem is not what his rank was. The problem is he's using it as a platform to steal rights from people. God, these people, man.
I know, right?
Oh.
So I sent over in the text message the images I was talking about with Stalin and the
you found it? You found it already?
They went back and fixed history just like the Democrats are doing now.
Yeah. No, I've seen that. Man, they did a good job. Did they have Photoshop back then?
I know they were doing it the old-fashioned way. Those commies, they're pretty resourceful when it comes to rewriting history and fixing their mistakes.
Man, that's impressive.
Yeah,
well, that's all I got for you. Other than the living memory being erased, and why dictators always do this. I don't like why. What is it about this move that
Napoleon
inspires?
started that. Yeah, who knows?
I know, but are you a tyrant in ultimate control?
Yeah.
Do you not see my hand?
I'm in charge. All right.
I'm in charge.
Well, folks, as this story evolves, we'll bring you updates. Thank you for watching Second Legacy, and we'll talk to you guys soon.